Hi, I'm Mike Morrow, and I am an instructor for automotive technology at Copper Mountain College in California. And I just wanted to do a demonstration video on the automotive alternator. And we're taught and we know that the alternator produces three-phase AC current, and it takes that current and rectifies it and changes it to our 12 to 14 volts DC for our car accessories and charging the battery on the car. But there's no way to see the three-phase because alternators are sealed, and it's really not a test or anything. But to me, I've seen pictures of the three-phase sine wave, but I've never actually seen it. So I'm doing a demonstration. I have a Ford alternator here that I've wired into the stator so I can connect my oscilloscope up to the three different phases so we can actually see the phases, the sine waves, as the alternator is producing voltage. So let me switch my camera around here. Okay, so this is me in my lab. I have a automotive oscilloscope here. This is Hantek's version, a very low cost oscilloscope, but it's actually pretty good for most mechanics. I haven't had any problems with it. I think it does a good job. I know the more expensive scopes will do a lot more things, but their automotive scope's pretty nice. It has some presets for you for automotive. This is just a cheap multimeter, Tech Power. I have it hooked up to the alternator here so we can see the voltage. I use this one for the video instead of my Flukes because I like the screen on this one. Some of my Flukes are getting old, so the screens aren't so good. So I have here a Ford alternator. It's a 120 amp. I got it at the junkyard, cleaned it up a little bit, and what I've done is let's see, let me get this, I got my, there. What I've done is I've soldered in some wires to the stators to get my three phases, and I put a little block here, and you can see I have my oscilloscope hooked up to, I have three oscilloscope connectors for all three phases, and this is my common lead here. Also on the Ford voltage regulator, which is here, they have two places that you can connect into to directly ground one brush and to directly apply power to the other brush, so I can apply voltage to the rotor through what I have here is a variable power supply. So this is like my voltage regulator, but I can full field this if I want, but it'd be pretty hard to turn this alternator. It takes 3 to 4 horsepower to put out 120 amps. So, but I'm just going to be putting out voltage so we can see the sine wave. So let me turn this around, and hopefully I don't lose any of my connections. Okay, so I'm going to run about 6 volts through the field. See, it's pulling about 2 amps, which that's about right. Let me turn on my oscilloscope here. So I have Hantek set up to check all three phases, AC, AC current, I'm sorry. And we can also see the DC output on this voltmeter here. Somehow it's getting some mysterious 3 volts already. We're probably not going to be able to see that. But anyway, we'll be able to see the sine waves. And I have a drill here, and I'm just going to demonstrate what happens when we start turning that. So you saw the 3 phases. You saw the voltage level on the scope, and of course if I want more volts and more amps, I just apply more power from my power supply. I don't know if we could see the voltage. Let me zoom in on this and we'll do that one more time. So you saw it's putting over 16, 17 volts, and of course that's what the regulator does, is keeps that voltage down below 14.8, which I have the regulator bypassed, so I'm running direct current. I could full field this all the way up and start turning it and put a load on it, and I should be able to get my 120 amps out of it, but again it takes 3 to 4 horsepower. So my little drill is just not going to do it. Trying to get my camera back here. Can't see myself. Not really necessary, but anyway. That was just a demonstration. That's not a test you'd ever do on an alternator. The testing would just be at the output, the 12 volts, and also your load test if you wanted to see how many amps it would put out. You can do that on the automobile with the 2,000 RPMs on the throttle, and just put your load tester on your battery and put a load on the battery until your voltage drops down to about 12 volts, and then you should be able to see your max amperage coming out of that alternator. So that's an automotive test, but this was a bench test. It wasn't even really a test. This is a demonstration showing the 3-phase, actually the 3-phase power of that alternator. And again, I tried to find a video on it, but I couldn't. And you see lots of pictures when they're teaching you about alternators about the 3-phase. But you just got to see that live. So anyway, that ends my demonstration, and we'll see you guys around.